They tell you not to worry because, well, Yul Brynner was manly. To some, maybe yes, but what about in our contemporary world? You may have heard high levels of testosterone are associated with male pattern baldness. But regardless the cause, you'd prefer to have hair anyway. Have you tried hair regrowth products that did not amaze you and your friends with your results? Or are you afraid of the pain associated with transplants? Well, stay right here because you'll feel a lot more in control of your choices after today's short workshop on herbs for men's hair loss. Let's see together if we can get you saying, what a relief. Hello, my name is Amanda McQuaid Crawford, and as a practicing herbalist for many years in the entertainment industry, I have had my share of anxious phone calls from men who need to look a certain way or they'll lose the job and the house. But men from all walks of life can care just as much about thinning hair. We could have a conversation about media-manipulated culture, forcing a narrow definition of worth based on superficial appearance instead of on who a man truly is. Nah, instead I'll just share with you what I have learned with my male patients about hair loss and what works. On average, you start off with around 100,000 hairs on your head. In cycles of growth and rest, from the little follicles, the loss of 100 hairs a day is normal. Or you can lose hair in patches. That's usually a health concern. If young teens lose hair, it isn't just hormones. It's illness or malnutrition or exposure to some extreme influence on healthy hair follicles. Androgenetic alopecia is male pattern baldness. It affects 2/3 of all men by age 60. And this type of loss on top represents 90% of all men's hair loss. It's a myth that too much testosterone is the cause, but it does have to do with male hormones. Premature hair loss is an inherited condition of perhaps 8 genes, not just 1 or 2. When men with a genetic predisposition to baldness reach a certain age, even their early 20s, altered sensitivity to androgens or male hormones, such as testosterone, is the problem. But it's more than genes and hormones, as our holistic approach will show. Hair loss is on the rise by 10% each decade, and we can do more than rub on lotion and wait. In ancient times, the Egyptians filtered sunlight through garnets and other precious stones to direct colors of light as medicine, called phototherapy. Ancient Greeks understood that male pattern baldness was seen only after puberty. Treatments included eating shellfish, high in zinc, necessary for healthy hair, and stimulating scalp massages with botanicals extracted in wine and egg, natural sources of biotin and other ingredients used in shampoos today. The main clinically proven treatments for men's hair loss include Propecia, that's 1 milligram of finasteride, a drug that blocks the effect of DHT, dihydrotestosterone. DHT is thought to be responsible for the hair loss that you can expect if other men on your side of the family lost their hair in that typical pattern. This DHT binding leads to gradual transformation of large follicles to smaller ones. That leads to hair loss. Today's herbs stop the enzyme making so much super strong testosterone and address some background factors for hair regrowth. Remember, your total hormone levels are usually normal to high normal. We don't want to tinker with your natural drive. Just stop the hair loss. The other approved hair loss drug is topically applied minoxidil, a 2% liquid available from pharmacists that is rubbed on the scalp twice a day. Originally taken orally for high blood pressure that didn't respond to other treatments, the drug had the side effect of increased hair growth. Online and over-the-counter sources are plentiful. Rogaine, which contains about 2% of minoxidil, does work, though some critics complain its success rate is only about 25%. Men see best results after 4 months of constant use, and if one stops, the problem returns in about 3 months. Side effects include a possible rash, but if this doesn't happen to you, you can keep spending a few dollars a day for the foreseeable future. Then there is hair restoration surgery, which works by relocating the hair follicles that are not susceptible to DHT binding from the back of the head to the balding areas on top. Hair transplant efficacy has improved tremendously since the days of plugs and cornrows, and transplanted hair will usually grow. Scalp rotations are also a form of surgical treatment, though it sounds like something that's done in a cartoon. The main drawback to scalp rotation is that it is expensive, with some post-operative bruising, pain, and rarely scars or odd directions of hair growth. Toupees are the most instant and prevalent treatment, but you can't say that there aren't drawbacks. Men with toupees can tend to look and feel nervous. Is it slipping? A hairpiece attached to the same hair over time will pull, increasing the risk of traction hair loss there too. Excuse me, I'm going to pick some grapes. And now the good news. If you are faced with a receding hairline, whether it's migrating from the front or the crown of your head, you'll be relieved to know that there are safe natural preparations readily available. They contain a variety of nutrients, such as zinc, magnesium, iron, vitamin E, and at last count, well, countless herbs and extracts in various combinations. Today, we will take a look at the science behind the folk stories to get clear on the best treatments for your scalp. This may save you the time and grief of having to shop around, though the claims on some websites are good for a laugh, if you have some time to spare. The gene for male pattern baldness can be inherited from either your mother's side of the family or your father's. Contrary to conventional wisdom on this burning subject, no one can predict how much each male in the family will be affected by these factors. How soon will the hair go? How rapid a change from a healthy full head of hair to balding or even bald? How far will your hair loss progress? I won't make promises I can't keep about surefire hair regeneration formulas on today's program, but when we come back, I will give you my best herbs for men's hair loss. Welcome back to What a Relief. Today we're exploring safe herbal treatments for men's hair loss. If you are in the southeast or any climate where you can grow a potted palm indoors, grow a saw palmetto. Even if you don't get enough of the fruits to grind into medicine, why not give a Native American palm tree a home while you benefit from a crop that's grown and processed elsewhere? Or you can just keep a few dried herbs in your cupboard, one of them being saw palmetto berries, ready to brew a batch of a tonic that will put hair where you want it, on your scalp. Let's make a formula for male pattern hair loss that works from the inside out to get to the causes of hair loss, without the side effects from drugs that work the same way. Our first ingredient is saw palmetto. This is 6 ounces of the broken berry or fruit. Now, this is what the whole berry looks like. Saw palmetto is the current treatment of choice for many men due to its ability to protect the prostate, to slow hair loss and encourage hair regrowth. The recommended dose is 160 milligrams in a capsule twice a day, usually standardized berry extract, not just powdered dried berries themselves. For scalp health, but also to help get to the bottom of the problem, we're going to add 3 ounces of dried gotu kola. You might also find it in powder, and you might also find it fresh. Now this really affects microcirculation. And this isn't just for peripheral vasodilation, but to carry nutrients and these other herb effects to areas where hair loss occurs. Next, we're going to add 3 ounces each of nettle leaf and nettle root. This is stinging nettle. The root is for hormone effects, and the leaf is for minerals and for kidney function. Stinging nettle prevents hair loss because the root can block conversion of testosterone into DHT, an herbal version of the popular hair loss prescription without the loss of libido and the added benefit of great skin and hair. The leaf makes a great tea to rinse thinning hair, but it's the root that handles hormone balance in male pattern baldness. 3 ounces of each, here they go. Quite a large pile of herbs that's building up in our pot. Now our next herb is a stress herb. Eleuthero helps the effects of chronic stress, but if you are a calm balding man, it just supports non-specific immune resilience and nervous system health. I'm going to boil these dried herbs in water for 3 hours. We have 20 ounces of dried herb boiled in 2,400 milliliters of water. That's about 10 cups. So we'll stir that in and cook that down. And our 3 hours are up. Okay, good. And the rest of that's going to go into the compost. And let's see. We are going to cool this. This is almost cooled to room temperature now, and we're going to measure, making sure that we have about 600 ml. So I'm leaving behind the little bit of dregs that I had in that pot. And we're going to add 300 ml of saw palmetto extract and nettle root extract. So there's the first one, 150 ml of one. Very good. And for this other one, which is a little bit thicker, the saw palmetto extract, we're going to add this directly. We know that these berries don't fully extract in water, so that is now going to make what we're going to take internally all the stronger. Great. Add these two together. A few specks of herb in there doesn't bother us at all. And we're going to put it into a bottle with a label, and the dose is 1 teaspoon. Now this total alcohol content is like fortified wine because we started with a lot of dried herbs and a lot of water, cooked it down. That's very concentrated. We're preserving it with the alcohol herbal extracts. So the dose of 1 teaspoon is taken twice a day in water, morning and night, and let's taste it. That's strong enough to feel like it's doing something. And that is our formula for male pattern hair loss that works from the inside out to get to the causes without the side effects from drugs that work the same way. I've analyzed many herbal hair regrowth formulas on the market. The good ones, and there are some, have several, if not all, of the main actions in our brew. The rest of the solution to men's hair loss takes just one more step when we return to What a Relief. I'm Amanda McQuaid Crawford, and you're watching What a Relief. Welcome back to What a Relief. Today we're exploring safe herbal treatments for men's hair loss. Of course you want a quick fix for your thinning hair or bald spot, but for lasting changes, you need to take a few simple steps to implement a new routine with proven treatments for men's hair growth. Whatever you do, follow directions on ready-made product labels and be consistent. Both men and women can use this blend of essential oils of thyme, rosemary, lavender, and cedarwood, mixed with some fixed oils. Here's something to stimulate hair follicles. First, we're going to use GLA, gamma-linoleic acid. You can buy these in gel caps and just pierce one end, and then that can be squirted probably just that much, straight into the bottle so we don't lose any of those precious oils. Next to that, we're going to add grapeseed extract. If you want to add procyanidins, and I think you do, many that are found in fruits and herbs appear to work like the apple OPCs that are studied on men's hair loss in Japan. Topically, these really seem to work and can be found at about $50 a month. We're using much less expensive grapeseed extract, also rich in OPCs, and the total amount cost $9. So in that goes thick, voila. We're going to add to that 5 milliliters or 1 teaspoon of saw palmetto berry extract. I'm holding it over here just in case I spill. Next, we're going to put 5 mils or 1 teaspoon of nettle root, that stinging nettle root extract. Concentrated plant extracts. To that, I'm going to add 3 drops of thyme essential oil from the plant thyme that we use in cooking. This prevents infection and improves microcirculation. 1, 2, 3. Next is 3 drops of lavender essential oil, and that is for inflammation, reducing inflammation, and also it's very calming. 1, 2, 3. That goes right there. Not only is that for calming and for circulation, but it's also great for improving the condition of the hair. Next comes 3 drops of cedarwood. So I'm going to add just 1, 2, 3. There we go. Not much. These are very concentrated, and a little goes a long way. We're next going to add 1/8 of a cup or 1 ounce of any kind of nut oil. Today I'm using avocado. Beautiful. Look at that viscosity. That's going to massage in very well and be a good carrier oil for some of the other ingredients that we have. And 1/8 of a cup of jojoba oil. Looks like jojoba oil, but you can say it any way that you like to. Jojoba. And if you don't have these two, avocado nut oil or other seed oils will work just as well. Mix those ingredients together. See if I can find the right cap. That's the one I want. Label it. This is only for external use and not at all for internal use. Make sure it's correctly labeled as such. And cover your pillow with an old towel. You're going to apply several drops of this mixture to the areas of hair loss each night, gently into the scalp for 3 to 5 minutes. Store the oil tightly covered. Make sure not to take it internally or to get it too near the eye area. And that is our topical aromatic massage oil for men's hair regrowth. Hereditary loss of hair is not about eating wrong or right foods, but good nutrition always helps, with cofactors that work with active ingredients of our brew for best results. Where do you get B6 and zinc? When we come back, I'll show you how 1 ounce of prevention can help keep you regrowing your hair. You have to eat every day anyway. You might as well eat great food that thickens your hairline and not your waist. Welcome back to What a Relief. Today we're exploring safe herbal treatments for men's hair loss. Burgers, fries, and soft drinks are not the cause of hair loss, but they don't help, and the saturated fats in these foods aren't brilliant when it comes to your cholesterol either. Indirectly, your cholesterol affects complex hormone balancing acts that your body takes care of every day. If male pattern hair loss is bugging you, consider a few do's and don'ts. 1 ounce of prevention is worth a pallet of hyped hair regrowth drugs. Avoid eating sandwiches every day. We usually get enough starch in the diet. Sometimes simply reducing your dependence on handy sandwiches allows a smorgasbord of other nutrients to round out what your tissues and cells really want. Skip fried foods as often as you have a choice. That means go easy or drop the saturated fats and inflammatory pizza, burgers, fries, and fast food. Do take a food source multivitamin that has 50 milligrams of B6 with all the B vitamins plus 30 milligrams of zinc and silica. And eat B-complex in foods, whole grains, not just wheat bread, but also brown rice. Order a baked potato. Eat the skin too. That's where the nutrients in food are. Eat more eggs. The cholesterol of yolk is balanced by lecithin. Add green and red peppers and sprouts to salads. The trace nutrients, including silica, help hair and skin. Lean meats are high in iron, while black beans and aduki beans in Asian cooking are good for the vital energy that is needed by men. Zinc in pumpkin seeds and shellfish is helpful, although ecological and allergy concerns make eating food from our polluted coastlines less attractive. Do exercise, garden, or hike to burn off tension and stress, a background factor in aggravating or minimizing hereditary hair loss. Find shampoos that add to your efforts to regrow hair. This is a good time for using what conventional medicine offers topically, as well as safer herbal versions internally. If those of you with male pattern baldness practice our ounce of prevention tips, in a year you will have made a permanent improvement in your scalp. And that's our ounce of prevention for male pattern hair loss. If you shave your head to hide thinning hair, be glad you are not combing a few strands over the top. That was never a fashion that spelled success. You decide if you want to be proud of your beautiful dome or possibly regain your hair by any method available these days. Today we organized a mess of hair loss remedies into 3 piles. Yes, maybe, and no thanks. Whether you make a saw palmetto berry extract with all its helper herbs and natural agents packed into one container, or free yourself of the myths that dog the issue, any naturally safe step you take to restore your hair growth will be, what? A relief.